Scheherazade softly spoke. They tell the tale, O fortunate king, of a very wealthy merchant who traded across many distant lands. One day he traveled to a faraway country to collect his debts. The desert heat overcame him. He sat down beneath the shade of a large, quiet tree. Reaching into his leather saddlebag, he pulled out a piece of bread and some dates. He began to eat. After finishing a sweet date, he carelessly tossed the stone aside. Suddenly, a massive, towering Ifrit appeared right before him. In his heavy hand, he held a drawn, gleaming sword. The Ifrit stepped closer and growled, "Rise, so that I may kill you, just as you have killed my son." "But how could I have killed your son?" the merchant asked, trembling. The Ifrit replied, "When you ate the date and threw the stone, it struck my son in the chest, and he died in that very moment." Truly, we belong to the heavens, and to the heavens we return, the merchant cried out. There is no power nor strength save in the highest. If I killed your son, it was purely by accident. I beg you to forgive me. I must absolutely kill you, the jinn hissed. He grabbed the merchant, threw him to the ground, and raised his heavy sword to strike. The merchant wept and cried out, "I entrust my fate to the heavens." And then, with a shaking voice, he recited these words. Fate has 2 days, one of danger and one of peace, and life has 2 parts, one of clarity and one of sorrow. Tell the one who blames us for our shifting fortunes. Fate is only ever hostile to those of high rank. Do you not see the fierce, bending winds? When they blow, they only break the tallest, strongest trees. Do you not see the lifeless shell floating on the surface of the sea? While deep down in the darkest depths, the precious pearls remain hidden. If the hand of destiny has played its cruel game with me, and its lingering wrath has struck me with disaster, then know this: in the night sky there are countless shining stars, but only the sun and the moon ever suffer an eclipse. And think of the many plants, both green and withered. We only throw stones at the branches that bear sweet fruit. You are happy with your days when life was good, and you feared no evil brought by destiny. When the merchant finished his poem, the jinn spoke. Cut your words short. I swear I will definitely kill you, the merchant pleaded once more. Know, O Ifrit, that I have many debts, great wealth, a wife, children, and pledges belonging to others. Permit me to go home. I will pay every debt to whom it is due, and I will return to you at the beginning of the new year. I promise you, and I swear by the highest powers, that I will come back. Then you may do with me whatever you wish. Let the heavens be my guarantor for what I say. The jinn accepted his vow and let him go. The merchant returned to his lands and settled all his affairs. He paid his dues to everyone. He told his wife and children everything that had happened. He wrote his final will. He lived with his family until the end of the year. Then he washed himself, tucked his burial shroud under his arm, and said his final goodbyes. He walked out, fighting against his own heavy heart. His family raised their voices in loud wails and cries. The merchant walked until he reached that very same grove. It was the first day of the new year. As he sat there, weeping over his tragic fate, an elderly man approached him. The old man was leading a beautiful gazelle on a chain. He greeted the merchant, wished him a long life, and asked a question. "Why are you sitting alone in this place, when this is the hidden dwelling of the jinn?" The merchant told him exactly what had happened with the Ifrit. The old man, the owner of the gazelle, was deeply amazed. "By the heavens, my brother, your honesty is truly magnificent. Your story is so incredible that even if it were written with needles in the corners of an eye, it would serve as a profound lesson to anyone seeking wisdom." The old man sat down right beside the merchant. "I swear, my brother, I will not leave you until I see what happens between you and this Ifrit." He sat with him, and they talked quietly. The merchant was consumed by fear, terror, deep grief, and heavy thoughts. But the owner of the gazelle stayed right by his side. Suddenly, a second old man approached. He was accompanied by 2 black hunting dogs. After a warm greeting, he asked a question. "Why are you sitting in this place when this is the dwelling of the jinn?" They told him the entire story from beginning to end. He had barely settled down when a third old man arrived. With him was a spotted mule. The third old man greeted them and asked why they were there. They told him the whole matter from start to finish. There is no need to repeat it now, my friends. So he too sat down with them. Suddenly, a massive, swirling pillar of dust rushed in from the desert. When the thick dust cleared, there stood the very same jinn. In his hands was his naked, gleaming sword. His eyes were shooting angry sparks of fire. Walking up to them, the jinn grabbed the merchant by the arm. "Rise, so that I may kill you, just as you killed my child, the last breath of my heart." The merchant sobbed and wept. The 3 old men also joined in with sorrowful tears. Then the first old man, the owner of the gazelle, stepped forward. He gently kissed the Ifrit's hand and spoke. "O jinn, crown of the kings of the jinn, if I tell you what happened between me and this gazelle, and if you find my tale truly astonishing, will you gift me 1/3 of this merchant's blood?" "Yes, old man," the Ifrit replied. "If you tell me the story and it seems marvelous to me, I will grant you 1/3 of his blood."